Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to the Lighthouse Ladies channel. Today we are going to be doing the first oil change on a 2017 Kia Forte S. This particular model is the 2.0 liter MPI. It's a dual overhead cam 16 valve inline 4. In previous models, oil changes were not too difficult because you had easy access or fairly easy access underneath the car. This particular model has got complete plastic shrouding almost under the whole front end of the car, which completely covers the underside of the engine and most of the transmission. But there is two inspection covers underneath the car. One of them is marked oil filter cap. The other one is marked engine oil. Both of these are removable by depressing the tabs and slipping it down and out of the way, which gives you access to the oil filter. I might mention it's very limited access for the oil filter and fairly good access for the oil drain plug on the bottom of the oil pan. I will give you an example of where these are located. From the front of the vehicle, for orientation purposes, I'm going to just let you see where we're at and show you where I'm going. Alright, the more forward of the two inspection holes that get you access to the oil filter and oil drain plug, the more forward one is for the filter. As you can see, you don't have much room to get your hand in there. And from the factory, they had evidently installed the original oil filter on with a wrench. It was a real booger for me to get off. But I did manage to finally get in there and get it. The second hole is the inspection port for the oil drain plug. That's not as critical. You know for a fact that if you wind up taking this to a dealer to have the oil filter changed, they're going to have oil spilt all underneath that engine compartment and on top of that plastic. Alright, this is the actual oil filter that was installed at the factory. It's like I said, this is the first oil change. This booger was on there so tight I had to get an oil filter wrench and muscle it out. It was really on there. These things are only supposed to be put on a little bit more than hand tight. Alright, we got a 17 millimeter head on this drain plug as the original oil filter. I'm doing this oil change at just a tad over 5,000 miles. The owner's manual recommends like 7,500 miles for the first oil change. I'm a lot more particular. Alright, here we go. Okay, we went to our local Kia dealer, and in the service and parts department I got them to find me a original Kia equipment filter, a replacement filter for our particular model Kia Forte. They were gracious enough to give me a brand new crush washer to go on the drain plug. Make sure that once you've removed the drain plug, that make sure that the oil washer, this one, stuck to the oil pan. Just give it a little tap, it'll fall off, but make sure you remove the old washer. Replace it with a new crush washer. Alright, I like to pre-fill my filters. I do not like to put a dry filter on my engine and then crank it up because the engine's going to run a few seconds before this filter fills. So my recommendation is to pre-fill it. And I usually use a small funnel. And as you can see, I like Mobil 1. It's one of the best oil products out there. This particular model, for our weather conditions, uses the 5W20, and I like to use the full synthetic. So let's see how much of this I can spill. And once the filter's full, give it a couple minutes you can see down inside that after I fill it, the filter will absorb a good bit of the oil. And you can see that its oil level's dropping back down. It's below full, so I'm going to top it off again. And what I like to do is just keep topping it off until it quits taking any oil. It doesn't have to be overflowing, but I do like it to absorb a good bit of the oil. As you can see by looking down in there, even though it did fill all the way up, it soaked it up. It's about half full. All right, the filter's full. It's quit draining down. Now what I always do after I've filled it is take my finger, put a dab of oil on it, and make sure you lubricate this gasket. In this case, this one here looks more like an O-ring that's pressed into the body of the oil filter. But make sure you got some lube on that, and then also make sure that where the filter tightens up on the block, make sure that the old gasket here in the old filter did not stick to the block. Make sure it's removed, and then take a clean rag and wipe the face of the surface where the filter tightens up against on the block. Alright, I've already taken the new crush washer and installed it on the drain plug and installed a drain plug. Do not over tighten this. Get it snug because you don't want it to vibrate and come loose and dump your oil. But do not over tighten this. You can strip out that oil plug. I've seen it happen a million times. Be careful. Now, I'm already installed that, and I've already got my full filter, and I'm going to go ahead and install it up into onto the mounting point on the engine block. Spin it on and tighten it down good and snug with your hand. You don't need to use no wrench, because consequently you'll wind up having to use a wrench to get it off. Alright, under the hood we got the engine oil dipstick, and you got the oil fill. As you can see on here, it's saying SAE 5W20. There's a million different manufacturers that make 5W20 oil, but I would recommend using a very good quality, and one of the better ones that I like is the Mobil one. Alright, this particular jug of Mobil 1 5W20 full synthetic is a 5-quart jug. I've marked off 1 quart, 2, 3, 4. Of course, when it's full, it's 5 quarts. When I get down to where it's showing I've got 1 quart left over, I'm going to stop and crank up the engine and let it cycle. Because it actually takes just a tad over 4 quarts, and I don't want to overfill this engine. Alrighty. Okay, you can see I'm right at 1 quart left over, so I feel confident that that's good enough to crank it. Once you've got your oil in and you're sure everything is secure, crank it up, let it get up to operating temperature, and then shut it down and get up underneath where you've installed your filter and installed the oil plug, and make sure you've got no leaks at either one of those 2 points. If there's any leaks, you need to address that now. If not, you can replace the inspection covers, recheck the engine oil level, and make sure it is at the full mark. Alright, after you've gotten your oil in, you've rechecked your level and topped it off to the full mark on your dipstick, then you need to do a complete check over. You need to check your brake fluid level, which by holding a light up to it you can see the full mark. That one's still good. Same with your engine coolant, the radiator coolant, and your windshield washer level. And then if you want to check your air filter, it's easily checked by moving those two clips, lifting up and sliding out the cover. Lift it up a little bit, and as you can see, you can then pull your filter out, give it a little look, see, knock off any debris and replace it.
I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.